to let you know.
This meeting is being recorded.
Thank you. Just to let you know that we now have a website, a Canadian website for Torah Fund cards. So I'm going to put the website in the chat. So if anybody would like to send a Torah Fund card, it's very easy. We can do that online in Canadian dollars. So I will do that. And the other thing I wanted to mention, just so you know, we don't have a program next month because of Pesach. So our May program, which will be May the 10th, and we are having Anne Dublin speak. She is a former teacher librarian, and now she's a storyteller. She's written quite a few books, and she will be talking about her first book, which is called Written in the Wind. This is her first novel. So that should be, she has, if you look her up, her website, she has some very interesting novels that she's written. So I think that's all anybody wants to listen to me talk about. So I would like to introduce our speaker for the evening, Officer John Sconza with Toronto Police Department. He has been a police officer for almost 32 years at 32 divisions since June of 1998. He is honored to serve the citizens of Toronto and looks forward to teaching crime prevention and learning from us and our group, as he has found that he benefits from the lectures, I guess just as much as we benefit from the lectures. So please, officer, please, they don't want to listen to me talk anymore. Please, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Please call me John. As Ellen said, I've been a police officer for almost 32 years, and it really is an honor to serve the citizens of Toronto. It's a great city. Before we start, I would just like to, Toronto Police really emphasizes 911, and this is not and sometimes I speak too quickly. If I speak too quickly, please tell me, say, hey, John, you speak a little bit too quickly. Can everybody hear me okay? Thumbs up, yes? Everybody can hear me, okay. Toronto Police likes to emphasize 911 only because, especially the elderly, my mother's elderly as well. Quick story, she called me one day, this was a while back, and she said, John, I fell. And I said, are you okay? She said, I think I broke my arm. I said, oh my God, did you call 911? She goes, I'm calling you, you're a police officer. And I said, oh my God. So I called, I called 911, and of course I went over to make sure she was, and she hadn't in fact broken her arm. But my point is this, if something happens, God forbid, call 911 first and then call your family, okay? Call 911 first. And some of us may have friends or relatives where English isn't their first language. Tell them, people are traveling now. The pandemic has been going on for a long time, and people are going to be traveling soon. And we may have, hopefully we get a lot of visitors to Toronto, and you may have relatives, friends coming to visit you. If you do, tell them about 911. Say, hey, listen, welcome to Toronto, welcome to Canada, the best country in the world. If you're downtown, you get into trouble, call the emergency number is 911. Okay, it's very, very important. People should be informed before something happens. Does that make sense, folks? Yeah? Okay, and just even if, as I said, I was gonna say, even if English isn't their first language, it's available in 140 different languages. So my background is Italian. So for example, if it was me and I was a visitor from Italy here, I would call 911. For example, if I want the police, they would say to me, the dispatcher, 911, what is your emergency? And they would say fire, police, or ambulance. And I could say, police is kind of universal, polizia, Italian. And then they would transfer me to an Italian speaking person. Does everybody understand that? Yeah? Okay. And it's, and most people in Toronto are nice people, around the world are nice people. people call the police obviously deal with people who are not so nice, okay? And we have victims who are embarrassed to call the police, especially, and we're going to be talking a little bit about scams, internet scams. We have people and the elderly who are embarrassed to call the police because they've been taken, they've been made fools of, and at least in their minds. I'm just going to tell you, don't be embarrassed. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. It is the criminal who should be embarrassed, not the victims, okay? For a crime to occur, three elements have to happen: the crime, the opportunity, and the victim. Now, if you are a victim, as I said, don't be embarrassed, but call the police. Call the police, okay? And what do we all have here? Here, I'm pointing to my, we all have instincts, okay? We all have instincts, and instincts are there to protect us. So if something does not feel right, or it just doesn't jive, just listen to your instincts. It's very, very important, okay? And in fact, if you have, relatives, friends, children, tell them, listen to your instincts. Something doesn't feel right. We've all had those instances. I know I have. Those instances where something it's not feeling right. It's not jiving. So if that happens, for example, if someone's walking toward you and you just have a bad feeling, walk the other way or cross the street, okay? In Canada, there are many people who have been victims of fraud, scams. We have for example, the romance scam. There was a young lady who, she was embarrassed. I had dealt with her and her mother as well. And she said to me, she goes, I've been a victim of a romance scam. She goes, I was taken for $13,000. And actually she got, and it's sad, but she actually got off light because there have been cases where someone was taken for $500,000. But she told me I was scammed out of $13,000. She goes, she was, it happens because why? Because especially during this pandemic, people are lonely. People are lonely and they want companionship. So this gentleman started to communicate with this lady, and then he started to ask for money. I'd love to come and see you, but I need money. If that ever happens to any of you or any of your friends, anybody who asks you for money, for example, on a website where you may be romantically involved, please just end that relationship right away, because that is an indication that he or she is a scammer. And in fact, the picture that they may display on the screen is probably not even them. Okay, so please don't, if that happens to you, if you give money, don't be embarrassed, report it to the police, but do not under any circumstances, if you can, don't give any money to them. Don't give any money to them, okay? Other scams, and in fact, let's go back to this romance scam. This other lady, she had been married for I think 40 years. Her husband passed away. Then she was remarried, suffered some physical abuse, and then she was lonely. Again, a romance scam, and she got taken for $600,000. Okay, it's very, very heartbreaking, but it happens. Okay, and this was just recent. This was on the news. Actually, I heard it earlier this evening, where a lady. Have you heard of the grandparent scam? The grandparent scam? Yes. Okay. Hey, Hello. Hi, Grandma. Johnny, is that you? Yes, it's me. I'm in Montreal. I'm under arrest, but I need $25,000 for a lawyer. Please, can you send it via Western Union? If you first, folks, if you, and we're your grandparent, I'm a grandparent now. So, you want the best for your grandchild, right? But if someone calls you claiming to be your grandson or granddaughter, don't let them say who they are. Hello? Hi, Grandma. Oh, who's this? Oh, you know who it is. No, who is this? I have lots of grandchildren. Who are you? Which one? Now, they may say get the right name. Oh, yeah. Who are your parents? Boom. I guarantee you they're going to hang up. Okay. But if you give them an out, oh, hi, Johnny, is that you? Yeah, it's me. So I'm just saying, and as I said, you know what? Don't be embarrassed. There was, someone $25,000. This is a lot of money for an elderly. It's a lot of money for anybody, but especially for an elderly person who's maybe on a fixed income. And the bad people, they don't care. They do not care. If they make on like, let's say, for example, I know it sounds silly, 1 million calls, and they get a handful of, so to speak, bites, they're making, like, look at that lady I told you about earlier, 500,000, 25,000, 40,000. It's, they're making their monies. I mean, fraud in Canada is quite prevalent, especially now. During the pandemic, people have lied that they need money for the CERB. I mean, it just happens. Some people are desperate, which does not, does not give them the right to commit a crime. Are there any questions so far? If anybody wants to make a comment or question, raise your hand. Yes? No? No? Okay. Fair enough. Now, if you receive a letter stating that, yep,
I
sorry.
think we have one, excuse me, I think we have one question, Ruth.
Yes, for sure.
Sorry.
What you were saying, like, I'd gotten a phone call about a grandson. Now, they say grandma, and I've never been called a grandma in my life, so I knew it. But the guy called me 3 times till he finally got the message, because I kept hanging up on him. But
Okay.
like you say, I should have asked him questions.
You know what? No. That's only if, for example, no, you did the right thing. You did the right thing. But if, for example, if he called you and he's trying to befriend you and you say, well, who are you? I'm just saying, if you don't feel, if you think it's one of your grandchildren, which one are you? Because I have some relatives, and sometimes a couple of those relatives sound alike, so similar. So if you don't think that it's not your relative or anybody who you know, that's fine. Hang up. That's the best thing to do. Just hang up. But to verify, well, who are you? That's what I'm like. Don't say, oh, Johnny. Oh, then you give him an out. You know what I mean? Yes, it's me, Johnny. Right. So that's what I was getting at. Okay.
Okay.
No problem. But in fact, thank you for bringing that up. If someone, how many times have you had dinner and you get these calls, and for me it's 1, hello, 1, 2. No one answers, I hang up. Okay. If they want, they can leave a message. And if they don't leave a message, that's fine. Okay. But don't, and I'm sorry if I'm going off in tangent, but don't give any personal information over the phone. None. Not your name, not your address, not your phone number, definitely not your social insurance number, your credit card. Now, let's say, for example, if I call, let's say, for example, I call the Bay, okay? I've initiated the call. So if they call me back, that's okay. But if someone says, for example, I'm from the Bank of Montreal, I'm a bank manager here, we think that there is a teller who is stealing money. You're a customer here, aren't you? Right there, see, aren't you? No, hang up. Like, so the bad person would hang up. But some people may say, yeah, I'm a customer. Yes, I'm a customer for the Bank of Montreal. Well, okay, well, can you help us out? Of course, some people may, yes, of course. What do you need? The bank manager, so-called bank manager. Just come to the bank, take out $5,000. Someone will let you know. He's a private investigator. Will let you know who they are. Okay, and you let me know what are you wearing. Oh, we wearing this? Okay, yeah, and take out $5,000 and give it to him, and he's going to give it to the teller. Okay, and people have done that because for the most part, people want to help other people, but in this case, it's a scam. Okay, because the banks will never, ever, ever ask you to become involved in an internal investigation. Never. They never will. Okay. CRA, Canada Revenue Agency, as we all have to pay taxes. And now, I was at work this morning and I got 2 calls from the so-called CRA. Just hang up. Folks, remember, because, what I tell you, please tell your friends. Sometimes, your friends may, when we get older, some of us may have some cognitive issues. Okay. And I mentioned earlier, my mother, she was living by herself. She's no longer living by herself, but I just happened to have a key to the apartment and she was on the phone and she had her debit card in her hand. And the gentleman was asking for a credit card number. And she said to me, John, is this my credit card number? And I just hung up. Okay, so, and I'm, like I said, these bad people don't care who you are. If you have issues, if you're in debt, they do not care. They just want money. Okay, so the CRA will never call you. They will mail you something in the mail, but they will never call you ever. Okay, so hardly ever. I've never heard of too many the CRA calling you. It's usually you'll get something in the mail, and if you don't believe it, if you're not sure, then you call them. Okay, you initiate the call. Say, hey, listen, this is who I am. I got a phone call. Is it legit? And they'll probably say, no, it's not legit. Okay. Does everybody understand that? Any questions so far? Or comments?
I think you have one in the chat.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Can you read it for me, or should I? How do I do this? Chat.
Okay, if
Oh.
someone, questions from Lorraine, if someone calls more than once or sends emails, can the police trace the calls?
You know what? It is so difficult for us to do that, quite frankly, because there are chat rooms, there are internet cafes, and they may say, yeah, we're calling from Toronto, but they're not calling from Toronto. They're calling from, let's say, for example, I'm just going to say a country, India or Romania or, Italy. They're all over the world. It is so difficult for that's why it's frustrating for us too. That's why we do an educational seminar to hopefully it multiplies that people say, hey, no, this is a scam. It doesn't sound right. I'm not going to give any monies. Okay. It's very, very difficult to catch these guys. And that's why it's so profitable for them, because they don't care. Yes.
Go ahead, Judy.
Is there any way to eliminate these calls? That's one question. And the other one was, I was told never to press 1. They'll say, press 1 for this, because then that allows them access to your line. And I had an instance recently, I knew it was a spam call. I didn't answer. And I called back and I got a business. And somebody had picked up his number and was using it to make these calls. So you can't really trace it because every time they call, it's a different number.
Right. I got someone one day, I had the same thing. I got a call from a lady called me and she said, did you just call me? And I said, no. She said, I'm just letting you know that somebody is using your phone number. So same thing, but they were using my phone number. So it's impossible to trace, I would think.
And it's, honestly, if these criminals use their smarts to do good in the world, the world would be a better place, quite frankly. But they don't care. They just want to cause heartaches and problems, right? And again, if somebody calls you 112, you just hang up. If it's a number that you don't recognize, don't answer it. And guess what? If it's important, they'll leave a message. Okay. I can't tell you if, please don't send anything through Western Union, unless of course it's, somebody you trust. I mean, you want to give to a charity of, it's close to your heart, that's fine. But if someone's calling you and CRA, Canada Revenue Agency, will never ever ask you to send money via Western Union or wire transfer. They just won't do it. Or to go to Best Buy and get some gift cards. We've had people. There was a gentleman, and these are people who cannot afford $10,000, and he was crying. I was working the front desk, and his family was trying to get hold of him for hours, and he said, "I just bought $10,000 worth of gift cards." And I said, "Oh my gosh!" And I said, "Did you send?" Because of course they wanted the PIN numbers, and he gave them because he was afraid. And I'm not sure if maybe he was in Canada illegally. So of course they take that. You're going to go to jail, and they start becoming very, very aggressive. And people think that they're going to be arrested by the police, but of course we would not do that. Okay, I have a older sister who's a retired teacher who's quite smart, and she got a call, and she thought, because they were so aggressive, she thought that she was going to be in trouble from these guys. Okay, and this is an educated lady. I tell you this because it affects all aspects of society. Okay, so if you can, as I said, I'm teaching you, please teach your friends, your relatives, your children, and just listen to this. Listen to your instincts. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Okay, CRA will never call you. If people ask you, and I just want to kind of just for a romance scan, if they ask you for money, just right away, just terminate that relationship. Okay, just end that relationship. Lotteries. Oh, you're going to receive this poor lady. She had received a letter that I don't know where from. That's not important. She had received a letter that she had won a car. All she had to do was pay for the taxes and shipping, $2,500. She remortgaged her house for $255,000. I tried to tell her, her husband tried to tell her, her kids tried to tell her that it was a scam. It was heart-wrenching. It was, but she believed in her mind that she was going to win that car. So you know that saying that you get, nothing is free in life. Well, it's true for the most part, right? For example, another scam. You have a relative, I'll say Italy because I'm from Italian. You have a relative in Italy left you, let's say, €1 million, but you have to pay the taxes. And people have fallen for that, folks. They have fallen for that. Okay. All I can tell you is if it's too good to be true, it is. Don't do it. Okay. Any comments right now or yes, yes, please.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
All right, we get the annoying phone things, especially when they're 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm not ready to get up. But I find the ones in the email, I don't even remember what they say, but click here.
Yeah.
Well, I just send it to spam. I don't bother.
You know what, folks, if you're on a computer and it kind of looks legit, but you're not sure, just delete. Do not click on any links. Don't click on anything, okay? As I said, Bank of Montreal, Royal Bank, they won't ask you for your PIN number. They won't ask you for a credit card number. They will not do that, okay? So if any site asks you for any information, just call for example, your bank. Say, did you call me or did you send me an email? No. Okay, so don't send any information. Yes, please. Yes.
I got a brand new one. There's a brand new one that says, because Ontario will be doing away with your license stickers, click here and we'll reimburse you the money.
You know what, I've heard of that, and that's a recent one,
I've gotten
obviously.
it twice already.
Yeah, right. And you know how many people have probably fallen for that? It's,
I betcha.
yeah, it's heartbreaking because, people, during this pandemic, a lot of people have been suffering. Can you imagine if you owned a restaurant during these 2 years? Just opened a restaurant, can you imagine? It's just, and people want to save money where they can, and if they can receive some monies earlier than later, they're going to do it. But then as I said, if these criminals use their smarts to do some good in the world, it'd be a lot better place. But in any case, if you're not sure, don't do it. Don't just delete it and call the bank or call Service Ontario. Hey, are you guys giving refunds or free refunds earlier than stated? Because you know what? I mean, it's sad. It really is sad. But people fall for that, right? Again, and they don't have. It doesn't happen as often. But and I saw this on the news recently, where a lady was a victim of a scam. It was a furnace. So this gentleman came. He said, "Oh, you need a new furnace, of course." So they installed the cheapest furnace. I think it was $1,200, and she paid $12,000, and they put a lien on her house, which she did not know about. So if she was ever to sell her house, she would have to pay all the monies before she could sell her house. And this is for $1,200. Was actually the book value is $1,200, but she paid $12,000, and this poor lady didn't have the money and paying monthly, but couldn't make ends meet, and she couldn't. If she wanted to sell her house, she would have to pay these guys first. And I think only because the company's name had the word, two words, Ontario Green in it. I can't remember the name of the company, but it had the name Ontario and Green. So it appeared that it was like a government-run company or subsidized by the government, but it wasn't. And this guy, in fact, I think is being investigated for fraud. Okay, so I think what I'm trying to say to you folks is, before you sign anything, say, you know what, I'm not signing anything until I get somebody to look at it. Maybe my lawyer, my son, my daughter, my friend, don't sign anything. Don't sign anything. Because once you sign, then you have some legal problems. Okay? Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes, please.
Go ahead, Judy.
I just had my Facebook account hacked last week, which was a nuisance. And along that line, if you get an email and you don't recognize who the sender is, I just delete it immediately. If they really want me, they'll find me.
Yeah.
But it was a nightmare with Facebook because I had to tell everybody and close the account and reopen it, and things you don't think could happen. And it's just something triggered. It didn't look right.
You know what? It's funny you should mention that, because somebody, I think a couple of days ago, somebody said the same thing to me at work, that his Facebook account was hacked as well. Yeah. Ellen, did you want to say something?
I was just going to say, I think that if you tell somebody that you want to get somebody to look at it, or you get your lawyer to look at it, I think any legitimate person will say, sure, go ahead. And as soon as they argue with you and tell you don't need it, I think that's the tell sign that they're not legitimate, I think.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah. And if, we've had cases where someone said to me, this was last year, do the police call you to get donations? I go, the police? And I had never heard of it, to be honest with you. And I wouldn't, it sounded weird to me. But apparently they do. But you know what? Having said that, if you get any calls for the police, for firefighters, whatever a charity it is, I think it's beneficial to say, you know what, let me think about it. If you want, you can send me an email. Let me think about it, or better yet, what is it? I mean, we all know there's cancer, sick kids, and the big charities. But and if you want, of course, if that's where your heart is, you can give the charitable donation. But if it doesn't sound right, so I'm going to think about it. I don't know who you are, and I'm not going to give you my name or my information over the phone. That's all you have to say. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Okay. Because we have had instances where someone said, and it was I think it was a GoFundMe page, and it was a scam. And I think a lady had faked, and this is terrible, that she had cancer, but in fact she did not have cancer. And I think she raised, I think it was $100,000. Okay, so if there's a way to do it, right? So if you think it's legit, and remember, listen to this, right? Doesn't sound right? No, I'm not going to do it. Okay, it sounds right. And okay, it's, for example, sick kids, or some federation. Yeah, no problem. Okay, you know what? I'm going to give to that federation. Okay, it's close to my heart. That's what I'm going to do. No problem. But if it doesn't sound right, then don't do it. Don't give any information over the phone. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, please. Or yes. Is she?
I don't know if there's, I don't know whether they're still doing it, but a friend of mine got caught. Somebody comes up with a bouquet of flowers to the door,
Oh,
and they say, oh, somebody sent you, there's no card. And they say, that's wonderful. The only thing is I'm the deliverer, but I need the delivery charge. How much is the delivery charge? Oh, it's only $6. So the person goes to give them the money. No, I need your credit card because I have to do it through my company. And the person did it, and they took $4,000 out of her account.
oh my gosh.
So I don't know if that's one still going around or not, but that's a new one that was going
Oh.
around.
You see, remember I told you that I've not heard of that one. I have not heard of that one. Oh my gosh. That is, those are expensive flowers. Let me just.
Yeah.
Are you from Vancouver? Is she from Vancouver? No? Okay. I just saw Vancouver, that's why, okay.
No, she's visiting her daughters in Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got one too.
Beautiful city. Yes.
I'm expecting a delivery, a parcel delivery. I just
Yes.
happen to be expecting a parcel delivery, and I get an email saying, I think it was UPS. There's you have to pay delivery costs. And I knew this wasn't so because it was coming I had taken care of it from wherever I had bought it. So I knew there was no delivery cost. So anyhow, I called the UPS and I showed them, or I told them the number that was on the email, and they said that is not one of our tracking numbers.
Oh, you see.
So I don't know if that's a new one or an old one being recycled, but that's a new one.
You know what? As I said, I've not heard about the flowers and the scam, and this one here I've not heard of either. Okay, and I think it's coincidental because you just happened to order something and it's being delivered by UPS. And
Yeah.
Thankfully, you're a very smart lady, and something didn't feel right, and you called, and I think that's great. Yeah. As I said, you know what? Most people are nice people. If they weren't, then our job, my job as police officer, our police officers would have a very, very difficult job. But most people are nice. But unfortunately, we deal with people who are not so nice and trying to scam, especially the elderly. It's just it's a shame. It really is a shame. And trying to scam people who cannot afford, even let's say $100 because they're just scraping by, right? So, yeah. Folks, can I, and this is kind of, we're going to go off a little bit, but because things happen sometimes. If someone knocks on your door, someone is knocking on your door, can I suggest that you answer the door? Answer the door. What does that mean? Not to open the door, but to answer the door. Okay. And only because the bad guys, when they're thinking about breaking into a house, knock, knock, knock. If no one answers, if someone, oh, you know what, I'm tired, I'm not going to answer the door. And we've had instances where people not answer the door and the bad guy says to himself, okay, there's no one home, goes to the back, breaks a window, breaks a sliding door, and lo and behold, now he's in the house. And we had one where a young lady was studying for an exam and she said, I'm not going to answer the door. And the guys broke in. She ran to her parents' closet and called 911. In fact, we got those guys. So sometimes we get lucky. But answer the door, okay? Answer the door. And, most people, not, but a lot of people keep valuables in their night table, master bedroom. And the bad guys, quite frankly, what they'll do is if they do break in, they'll run upstairs. I mean, sometimes they ransack the whole house, quite frankly, but if not, they'll usually go upstairs, go to the master bedroom, and then ransack the master bedroom. So, and I can't tell you, John, where should I keep my value? Well, you should probably keep them in the bank, quite frankly. But if you don't want to keep them in the bank, keep them anywhere but the master bedroom, okay? Like not your documents, your important documents, jewelry, money. Don't keep them in the master bedroom. We've had instances as well where, those rollaway safes, and people say, oh, you know what, it's fine. It's not fine, folks. You're giving these guys an easy way to carry your valuables, okay? We had an instance where, and it was a heavy safe. It was kept in the bedroom. And these, like I said, these guys don't care about your house. So they they ruined the floor. They rolled it from the second floor hallway, ruined the hallway. Then they rolled it down the stairs, ruined the balustrade, and they took the safe, and it was a heavy safe. And there was a huge Rottweiler, huge. And when we got there, the dog was in the washroom, like the powder room. And in fact, the young girl who she was one of the owners, she goes, this dog sometimes, and it was a big dog, sometimes scares me. And and they say, to prevent people from breaking into your house, get a dog, and usually that works. But some people aren't afraid of dogs, right? So, but it's honestly, I mean, it's not a bad idea if you like dogs. They are a deterrent. Yes, please.
Okay, I would also suggest if you hide your jewelry or valuables in different places in your house, don't keep them all together.
Mhm.
I mean, we've been through one of those
Okay.
robberies, and I lost a lot of my gold jewelry. I got back all the imitation stuff, most of it.
Yeah.
But now I've got things spread all over. I gotta tell my daughter where the stuff is.
You know what? I mean, like as I said, I can't tell you where to hide it. It's because only you know your house. But sometimes the bad guys get lucky, okay, and so to speak, and they find it too. The best place, and I know because if now people are starting to go out now, and if you go, for example, to a wedding or something, oh, I want to get my jewelry. Oh, I have to go to the bank and go to the. But at least when you go, it's there, right? So I'm just gonna. Like I said, I know it's a pain, but at least you have it. Okay, so just be yes.
I
Yes,
have a safe in that's bolted to the floor. I mean, I know that if anybody wants to get anything out badly enough, they could get it out. But I wonder if because it's bolted really well. When I bought this safe, the guy tried to talk me into a lesser, like a less expensive one, because he said, oh, that's all you need. But I took the better one. I looked at him, I said, this is a once in a lifetime purchase and I want
Yeah.
the good one. So hopefully by the time they get it off, unbolted from the floor, the police will come because the alarm will go off. But the other thing I had happened to me once, I have a Ring doorbell camera, you know,
Good,
so
good.
I don't think I was home. I don't remember if I was home or not, but I answered the door through the speaker and the guy said to me, "You're not home, are you?" And I thought to myself, well, what's the point of having this camera if I'm going to admit to you that I'm not home? I said, of course I'm home. I just can't come to the door. So, oh, you're not home, are you? So I guess he was trying to catch me off guard for me to say, well, no, I'm not home, which I
Right.
thought was really weird because what's the point?
And you're right, Alan, you're right. He was trying to, but you were smart enough to say, of course I'm home. I just can't come to the door. Yeah, no, and those, Ring doorbells, there's one called the Eufy, it's EUFY, secure, same thing. It's Ring or the Nest. Yeah, those are the three that I know, and they're quite good. And it's the Ring especially, I think takes very, very clear pictures, very clear
Mhm.
pictures. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
I think Rhoda has a question.
oh, okay. Yes.
Thank you. There was a situation where a cousin of mine in the States had been hacked. Her list had been hacked, and I get an email, I should say, from somebody claiming to be in England, claiming to be my cousin. They had taken a walk in the park in London, and they had been accosted, and her purse was stolen with her passports and everything. Could I please send money to MasterCard or American Express, whatever it was, so that they can get home? They wanted $1,500. And I said, well, if you really are my cousin and that has really happened, then all you have to do is go to American Express and explain your situation, and they will forward the money to you, and you'll be able to come home. I wasn't born yesterday. I knew that this was a scam, and that's exactly what I told him.
Good for you. Good for you. God bless you. Yeah, you see, that's an example of being street smart, of using your instincts. That's good for you. That's excellent. Yeah. Any other questions, folks, or concerns or comments? Ellen, I think I'm going to say thank you so much for allowing me to lecture. Yes, Marion, yes. Yes.
And so we've heard all of these things and we get bothered all the time. Is there any way that we can get rid of all this? I mean, I'm getting tired of all the phone calls and the people that are scamming. Is there any way that we can block them off?
You know what? I wish there was a way. I think Bell and Rogers said that they were going to implement a system where we would not be getting so many calls. I'm still getting these calls, and there must be some way to try to.
It starts like 8:30 in the morning, sometimes
I know.
earlier,
I know.
and it goes like all day, and it's
I
like
know.
it's sickening already how many people
I know.
call
I got one this morning. As a matter of fact, another one this morning. You know, this is a Visa. There have been 2 charges, and I just hung right up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you know what, it's never going to go away because bad people want the easy dollar, and crime is, quite frankly,
crime pays.
Crime does
yeah,
pay.
well, I don't know if it pays. I mean, maybe I'm of the adage, if you steal it, you can't enjoy it, right? But some people don't care. But it's unfortunately, I wish I could give you that, but it's never going to go away. Yeah, that's why, but that's why we're doing this. So hopefully we can teach you, and, you know, you teach your friends and your relatives and your children, and, you know, and just education, knowledge is power, right?
You know what, these people who this is how they make their living, people who steal sleep very well at night, and they're very happy with what they get. And if they had a conscience, they wouldn't steal,
You're right. Yeah, you're right. You
I
know,
think.
no, you're right. It's a very good point. Yeah. Some people don't, and you're right. Some people don't care. Yeah.
Well,
You
this
know,
Rogers, you reminded me, this sorted, this Rogers thing, that's a big thing. I get at least 3 or 4 emails a day from somebody that says it's Rogers, and, you know, we're gonna stop your incoming emails and blah, 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 whatever. There are all kinds of them. So Rogers says, so if you click on the name, their email address will come up. And I wonder, because Rogers tells you to take a screenshot of the email. So I take a screenshot with their email address, and sometimes the email address is actually from Rogers. So I wonder, and I send it to this abuse@rogers.com. And I wonder if they actually can find the people who have the @Rogers email accounts.
oh,
I don't
okay.
know. I wonder.
You know what? That's a good point. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. I should try to find out. Maybe talk to the fraud department, because we have a fraud unit at 32. But as I said, you know what? It is so prevalent. It's impossible, almost impossible for us to catch these people, which is frustrating for us because of the heartbreak that they cause, right? So the heartaches they cause. Any other
May I make-
comment? Sorry.
Yes, may I make a comment, please?
Yes.
Ladies, I want to caution all the ladies, when you're in the supermarket and you're picking your tomatoes or your vegetables, and your cart is behind you with your purse behind you, please don't leave your purses in the cart while you're so absorbed picking your fruits and vegetables. You don't know that somebody has quickly unzipped your purse, or if it's open, it makes it even more convenient. Off goes your wallet, and off go your car keys, and you're in a bad position. So please
Thank
pay
you.
attention when you're in the supermarket.
Thank you so much for that. And that's a very good, that happened to my wife a long time ago. She, my daughter, who's now almost 30, she was in the buggy, and this lady, actually, while my wife was selecting a couple of items, this lady actually took my wife's wallet, and when she went to go pay, you know, the wallet was gone. So it's very, and it's never mind the money. It's just, you know, having to go to Service Ontario and getting the your health card, your driver's license, and canceling all their cards, and it was quite upsetting. Yeah,
And
thank
pictures
you
of
so
your
much.
kids when they were young and really cute.
That's right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, pictures are more important. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
I wish they would just take the money and leave everything else. Just take the money, because
Leave the wallet.
that doesn't matter. Take the money and leave everything. Don't just toss it because they don't want your pictures. They're gonna throw it in the garbage.
Okay, one last question from Tina.
Well, it wasn't a question. This happened to me in the supermarket about a year ago. I was actually putting my groceries onto the conveyor belt, and I had my purse in the buggy behind me. And so happened that it was my son and daughter-in-law picked up my purse, didn't say a word. They were in the next aisle beside me. And I go to get my purse or my wallet, and I go, oh my God, my purse is gone. And the girl at the cash says, calm down, you know. And then my son comes around. I didn't see him at all. And he says, are you looking for this? I said, yes. He says, well, that'll teach you for leaving your purse unattended. So I was lucky that it happened to be my son that did it.
Yeah.
But he taught me a very valuable lesson, that I put my purse around my
Yeah, that,
shoulder,
Yes.
and I have my purse on me at all times and never, ever leave it in the shopping cart.
good, good. good.
Okay, this has been very informative, John, and even better because our families are connected.
Noreen, did you ask John if he knew Howard?
Oh yeah, I sent a chat. Also, a cousin of mine, nephew to my auntie Anna, Howard Clements worked
Oh my
for,
God, sure I know Howard Clemens.
yeah, like about 100 years at 32 Division.
Oh
So,
my gosh.
yes.
Wow.
So anyway, we're very connected, and I want to thank you for coming
Thank you
and
so much.
reminding us about all of these things and all of these ways to protect ourselves. And maybe in a few years you'll come back and we'll be reminded once again because we need it.
No problem. Anytime. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for giving
so
me the
much.
opportunity. Stay
Thank
safe,
you so
everybody.
much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Good night,
you.
everybody.
Take care.
Everybody, was
Good
a
night.
great
Good night.
program. I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good
Have a
night.
nice night. Thank you.